So I was testing out the piano mix setup last week and I thought to myself, why don't I run it through the Digitakt? I ended up with a lo-fi hip-hop beat. So let me show you my process. Alright, so I started with a simple drum loop, but I removed all the low end because I wanted to add my own kick and snare. So that's what I did next. Add a kick and a snare and some hi-hats. With this hi-hat pattern, I had to match it to the groove of the original loop, which of course wasn't straight. So I listened to which hi-hats sounded off and then I shifted them. If you hold a note and you press the left and right arrows, like this one for example, and this one as well. So I added 2 LFOs, one modulating the filter, the frequency, and one modulating the panning. And it's unsynced, and that adds some movement to the sound. Okay, so then I went to the piano. I've got a felt piano right here. It needs to be tuned, so it's a little off sounding, but that makes it even more lo-fi, right? So I'm sending those through a breakout box to my patch bay and through my preamps. And then back out again through the same cable back to the Digitakt. And surprisingly, all without noise or hum. I guess that's the joy of a balanced setup. So in the recorder, I set the sample length to max and just recorded a couple of bars of chords. And I ended up with this sound right here. In this case, I just used the one-shot machine because I recorded at the same tempo. Then I just put a note with a really long length. And of course, I filtered out some of the high end. Added some overdrive, a little bit of sample reduction, and a slight bit of bit reduction. Oh, also some chorusing and a bit of delay. And of course we can't forget the final noise. So I've got that one right here. It's turned down all the way at the moment and filtered. I think this one is a factory sample actually. But just turn it down, put it in the background. But what I did next is a cool way to experiment with a simple loop like this. You just copy the entire pattern. So, function, copy, go to the next pattern, paste it there. Then you can really experiment with the different machines, especially on the piano sound. Like this one. So I think, yeah, this is the stretch machine. I pitched it up and set the number of bars to 4. And all these artifacts you're getting, it really adds to the lo-fi sound. But I made some more variations, so right here. I really like this one. So I used the warp algorithm. And it really chops up the sound. But there's one disadvantage, and that's the clicks. So I added a lot of high frequency cutoff, as you can hear right here. Those clicks make it pretty unusable. So I really hope they'll fix that in the future with an update. But since it's lo-fi, I can get away with a little bit of high frequency reduction. also reverse it, of course. So that's a cool one. Also made another one. I think, yeah, using the repitch algorithm. It's a different sound. You can play around with that. The final one I tried was the grid mode to play in some slices. So for example, if I clear this pattern, just play it in. So it's pretty cool, all the things you can do with a simple piano loop. But yeah, like always, the funny thing is, you always end up what you started with. I finally chose to stay with this loop. One thing that really adds to the sound though, is the master compressor. I really love the sound of this compressor. Especially the hi-hats, they really start to groove. Without. With. So yeah, that's all I did with the Digitakt. Then I ended up recording everything like this in the box. And I believe I made a rough arrangement simply by turning on and off patterns. And filtering the piano. So I recorded a long take of, I believe, 3 minutes or something. And then I continued recording the minitar directly in the box. So a simple bass part. I also added a synth part as well, so with the JX3P. The only thing I had to do, because I used an entire beat and I didn't have the kick drum separately, I used Pro C2 to sidechain it, which has a built-in sidechain filter. Let me listen to it. So it's only responding to the low end of the kick. The same for the JX. And finally, I improvised a little bit of piano on top. Little delay feedback automation. This is a great plugin, by the way, by Waves. Lo-fi space. Yeah, later on I noticed I wanted a little bit more dynamic, so I just filtered in the DAW. Filtering out the higher frequencies and the lower frequencies. A little bit of PML, percussion. A tiny bit of UAD, tape compression, Fairchild compression. An inflator, of course. And some limiting. And for the piano I just recorded, I believe, 2 takes. And I just picked the best parts, added a lot of delay and reverb. And it really adds to the vibe. I reversed it from time to time. The key is to leave lots of room. Don't make it too dense. And that's basically it. And the funny thing is, lo-fi hip-hop isn't a genre I typically make. But the main point is the efficiency of the Digitakt. It's so incredibly fast to start and more importantly to finish a track. I know it's not a cheap unit, but it certainly saves me so much time. It's definitely worth it. Alright, let me know what you think about this setup. I think it's pretty cool. A whole lot more inspiring and way faster than working completely in the box. There are still some issues though, with the Digitakt, mainly the clicks, which can be really annoying. So I really hope they'll fix that in the future. But for now, let me know if you have any questions and I'll see you soon with another video.